All right, everybody. Now we're on to part 3 of the Groupthink lecture, and we're continuing on with the symptoms of groupthink. And this one is called Members Believe They Have Reached True Consensus. So basically, this is also referred to as false consensus, and what it means is the group thinks that everybody agrees, but in fact, not everybody agrees. They just think they agree. So it's consensus is, remember, when everybody agrees, but false consensus is not everybody really agrees. And the example that your book uses is a group of students, college students, who ended up watching the entire Lord of the Rings series because they thought everybody wanted to do it, and in reality there wasn't consensus, it was false consensus. So there you go. Next up, we've got, they're too concerned about reinforcing the leader's beliefs. Basically with this, whatever the leader says, they try to rally around the leader and support that person, regardless if it's a good idea or not. This example is Blair Waldorf. Her minions in Gossip Girl always did that. It was hilarious. But anyway, Heathers too. If you ever saw Heathers, that happened as well. Another example of this actually is The River's Edge. This is a movie that came out. It's a good movie, but it's also a true story. It's about a guy a high school student actually, who killed his girlfriend and left her by the river. But the groupthink part was when he showed his friends, and the leader of the group, this stoner guy played by Crispin Glover in the movie, said, "Hey, we got to cover this up, because if we report it, we're all getting in trouble," which is, of course, ridiculous, because like, why would they all get in trouble for one guy killing his girlfriend? But anyway, they covered it up because they just reinforced what he was doing, because he was the leader. So they're like, wanting to do whatever the leader says. And of course, they all did get in trouble because they covered up. Had they not covered up, they would have been fine. Only the guy who killed the girl would have gotten in trouble. So anyway, check it out. It's actually based on a true story. So part of you is thinking, oh my God, Sammy, I hate life. Why would I want to live in a group? It could be fall victim to groupthink. Well, the good news is that groupthink doesn't have to be. You can stop it. So these are some ways to reduce groupthink methods. So first off is just hold up critical thinking as being something that's awesome, like value it. You could even say to the group, hey, for the sake of critical thinking, that way you don't seem like you're a troublemaker. You're just advocating for critical thinking. Also, know when there's power differences. Be aware of them, and then you'll know if, like, hey, am I doing this because it's a good idea, or am I maybe just doing this thing because there's somebody who's in a high status position said it, and then you could stop and say, maybe this isn't such a good idea, or maybe it is a good idea, but at least you could stop and question yourself if you notice that it's because there's some status differences. An example of this would be from the movie Dazed and Confused. That's the Matthew McConaughey character. All right. Anyway, in the movie, there's an older kid who's older than all the rest of the teenagers, and as a result, a lot of the people do what he says just because he's older. And so if they were more aware of that status difference, they might be less likely to fall into groupthink. You could also have an outside member, like, run their ideas by them. So you get someone outside your group and run those ideas by that person. See what they think. Maybe someone who isn't, like, so into the group might see things a little differently. And then also, you could assign someone to be the devil's advocate. Just assign anybody in your group. Sometimes people even wear those, like, horns that they sell at Halloween stores, to just basically go against the group for the sake of it. So that's the devil's advocate. The other idea is to divide the group into smaller groups. Sometimes people who are afraid to say their opinion, when you put them in a smaller group, they're more likely to say their opinion. So that could work. Excuse me. And then your authors suggest making use of a group decision support system. Basically, with a group decision support system, what happens is that it's a computer program that leads you through these decisions. You can download these software packages pretty easily, and they make sure that you look at things from multiple perspectives and do critical thinking. So anyway, we suggest group decision support systems as well. And those are all the ways to stop groupthink. And basically, if you're aware of groupthink, you could stop it. It can be stopped, but it's a lot of times people fall into it because they don't know about it. So luckily now you're fully armed with the information. Read about it a little bit in your textbook. I think you'll find some interesting information there about groupthink, and it's like a fascinating topic. And if you get a chance, watch the movie All the President's Men, which stars Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman. It's a really good movie, and it really kind of goes into everything about Watergate, which is a great example of groupthink. Okay, hope you're having a good day, and let me know, as always, if you have any questions about groupthink.